Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, today I want to talk to you about a couple things. The first thing I want to talk to you about is dealing with business right now in this economy. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone wants to understand, what can I do to recession-proof my business? Well, to me, there are a few steps that you can take. I talk to business owners from New York to California every day, kneecap to kneecap. And I'm seeing a common thread in some mistakes that are being made. The first one is dealing with day-to-day business operations. The second one is being able to communicate with their team. And the third one is they're missing the secret ingredient that I'll talk to you about here in a minute. The first thing with business operations is I think a lot of them are being tactical in their response to issues instead of being, strategic. And what's the difference? Tactical is a response, isn't it? Right? You remember law enforcement? If there's an issue, what do? You call on the tactical response team, right? They put on all the gear, they roll up on the situation, they bust out, and they do what? They handle it. They get out there and they take care of business. On the strategic side, what do you have to do? You've got to plan. You've got to give some forethought. You've got to sit down, take some time, and think about what are you going to do. Too many business owners are being tactical instead of being strategic. If you're tactical, you're just responding to the issue. If you're being strategic, you're what? You're approaching it from a development standpoint. And right now, with the economy being the way it is, where money is happening, where business isn't coming through the threshold like it used to be, a lot of businesses are suffering. So if we can help them change their mindset to become a little bit more strategic, as well as tactical, they can make their business thrive. Now, there are certain aspects to business that are never going to go away. That's obviously dealing with cash flow and dealing with debt. Those issues are not going to go away, okay? Those are constants. But the ability to be able to communicate with your team is vital. It's imperative. I'm talking to business owners and I ask them, when's the last time you met with your team as a collective? They'll say, well, several months ago. Well, how in the world can they understand your vision if they're not seeing you? You've got to connect with them. They've got to understand that you're the reason they came to work at this company. Now, some places have only 2 employees, and that's easy to get together, isn't it? But if you're talking about companies that have 20,000, it's a little bit more difficult. And that's where you may have to have department meetings or break out and do memos and do sessions. But if people aren't connecting, they don't understand why they're there. Okay, so they have to hear your passion, your vision. And we do that a lot in our company. We meet every Monday for a staff meeting, every Wednesday for a devotional. And there are all kinds of team meetings throughout that. So I encourage business owners to get connected with your team. They have to understand where they're going. And one business owner said, well, Chris, my team doesn't enjoy the staff meetings. I'm like, well, tell me, what do you do? He said, I talk about our results from last week and how we didn't do well. Well, I said, well, that's not fun. I said, how is this? If I'm counseling you, what about if I just sit for the next hour and a half and tell you what you're doing wrong in your business? Will you come back to me? Will you want to see me again? And he paused for a second. He goes, no, not at all. I don't want to hear all the negatives. I said, exactly. That's what you're doing with your team. If all you're doing is talking about what didn't happen, they're not being inspired. You can touch on the results. I'm not saying we're not going to address those issues, but you've got to lead them. You've got to show them where are they going. What did they do well? You have to recognize individuals and let them know, cast the vision, and you have to do that daily.